Hey, welcome to another episode of STFU, the interview show that's a lot nicer than it sounds. I'm your host, Zach Evans, here as always with my old pal, Adam Kelly. Adam, how's it going, man?
Pretty good for a Monday, I suppose. How are you?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. So today we have some fantastic guests, familiar voices to many of you, our good friends from the Hideous Laughter Podcast, Steve and Griffin. Welcome to the show, boys.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Good to be
How's
here.
It going?
Yeah, glad to have you. Long time coming.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, for the one person out there who may be listening to this show who's not familiar with the HLP, tell us a little bit about yourselves in the show.
Well, you want to take it, Steve?
Yeah, I was just about to say, Griff, you're kind of the spearhead of basically our entire project. So how about you go ahead and talk about yourself in the show, and then I'll play a cleanup.
Sure. So the Hideous Laughter Podcast is an actual play, actually drunk Pathfinder First Edition podcast that plays Carrion Crown, which is Paizo's gothic horror adventure path, released in 2011 and brought to the current day lovingly and caringly. And we've been going on for a while now, coming up on 2 years. We're fast approaching our 100th episode. We have a show very similar to this that both of you have been guests on called The Zone of Truth, which is a behind-the-scenes show where Steve and I sit down and chat with other content creators and each other and talk about our show and some of the behind-the-scenes GM stuff. And then we have the Evil Interlude, which is an evil side quest, so to speak, where all of the players play evil characters in the same world, and it gives a backdrop to the main campaign. Did I catch it all, Steve?
I think that was a very comprehensive look at everything we do. Griff is our GM. I'm one of the players. My name's Steve Strapple. I play Matumbe and Saw on the Hideous Laughter Podcast.
I was waiting for it,
Listen,
man.
I wasn't going to say anything until he brought up the Evil Interlude, and then I'm like, you know what, I've been primed. So Matumbe is my character in the original show, and our flagship, so to speak, and then those Evil Interludes, I play a character called Samun and Isle, who is a reflection of myself. In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good introduction, pretty good summary. If you weren't gonna say it, Steve, I was gonna set you up for it, man. I'd prepared because.
And who are you?
Steve, what do you play on the show?
So for that one person who doesn't know why we're all laughing right now, we have a running bit whenever we do stuff together. I introduce myself in full to the entire STF team, so so no one's confused on who I am.
Yeah, for 17 episodes now. Same fucking thing.
It wouldn't be right if you stopped now, Steve. You know, you've already committed. You got to keep it going. So anyway, guys, what made you decide to share your TTRPG experience with the world? Why did you decide to make a podcast?
I think it all started with a couple of summers ago. We were drinking on the weekends a lot, and I just had this idea. I was like, hey, we already play, we all play Pathfinder. We've all played Pathfinder for a while. We've never gotten to play together as a group, and by group I mean me, Steve, Haley, Brooks, and Emily. So the five of us had actually never played together in a campaign. We've all played separate campaigns. We've all been friends for a long time, but never played something together. And so I thought, well, I feel like we have the ability to do this. I feel like it's something that could make our gaming sessions very regular. And what it's done for us has had us recording every week since, I guess, the pandemic screwed that up. but we were recording every single week. So the campaign has been fresh in our minds for 2 years. And it's one of the more immersive campaigns, playing it that way, that I've ever been a part of. I've GM'd a lot of stuff. Was excited to get to GM this because I really wanted to take a story and kind of make it our own and put it out there. I think a lot of folks that do these adventure path podcasts put their own spin on it. I know you guys definitely do. You got to put some mustard on it, make it your own kind of special flavor.
Yeah.
And I think we've produced a really unique take on Carrying Crown that has a lot of.
You've made Carrying Crown a whole world. You've created a universe around. It's not just an adventure. You've basically built a whole lore around it. Outside of just the books. It's really what I think helps y'all's show stand out.
Yeah, just to build off that, the Carrying Crown I think has a fairly decent skeleton of an AP. It works. We've talked to a lot of people in the community, Griff especially, who have run it or are in the process of running it, and there are some challenges with the flow of the AP. However, what really diving headfirst into the back matter of Carrying Crown and Ustalav and all these cool places where our story takes place, we've really put a lot of skin and muscle on those bones and really tried to flesh it out. Griff in a lot of ways is an ideas guy, and sometimes in a lot of ways I can be a little bit of a yes man. So when Griff was talking about running a show, that was one of those things where I was like, yeah, sure, sounds great. So I was like, on the books, I was into it from day one, but I really kind of never thought it would happen because, just sometimes things don't work. And this is a pretty large undertaking from day one. So when it actually did happen, I was like, oh shit, this is really happening. And I'd been playing with Brooks and Emily for a long time. I think we've been playing something like 2-3 years before we started Carrying Crown, Pathfinder, and regularly too. We were playing every week. Rise of the Rune Lords and all bunch of other cool stuff. But, putting our voices out there into the ether of the world and the internet really forced us to elevate our roleplay and what we were bringing to the table, because suddenly it wasn't, me and 3 of my friends sitting around the table in my apartment. It was me and 4 of my friends sitting around a table that's getting broadcast to the entire world. And I've seen the stats. It's the entire world, man.
It's the whole world.
Yeah, it really does, though, man. I will say that doing an actual play podcast will force you to elevate your level of roleplay, because you can't get away with half-assed roleplay.
Yes.
When you have people listening to it, and when you have a community that will call you on your shit, that they keep you accountable and they keep you honest, and they can push you to be better at your craft.
They elevate you because you have that much more brain power on the subject matter, right? Even if they're not there at the table controlling your character, once you put it out in an actual play, it's no longer just your character, it's theirs to some degree, and so it just kind of pushes it up with all this extra creativity that's being kind of just thought at the project.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one other piece of why I really wanted to get a show out there was 2 years ago, the landscape of Paizo actual plays was not very vibrant, not very big. Mm-hmm. You had Glass Cannon, which I know all of us have listened to and is the preeminent Paizo podcast, but there wasn't a lot of there really weren't many shows, and with that, you see a lot of diversity and interesting casts in 5th edition podcasts. Because there are so many of them, you can kind of find your own flavor, and I found that the flavor didn't really exist in Pathfinder, where there were people my age playing. It was a lot of people, as Pathfinder kind of is, that were old D&D players, are in their late 30s, 40s, all playing together, and it kind of gives a different vibe.
Are you saying that's old, Griffin?
It's older than me, certainly. And on top of that, there weren't a lot of female voices in the Paizo shows at that time. I love the fact that Paizo shows have kind of exploded, and there are a lot of more diverse casts, but at the time, that wasn't really a thing. And so to be able to bring two really strong role-playing women into the Paizoverse, as it were, with Haley and Emily was something I was really excited to do. It's kind of a different dynamic with our show because there's two couples, so you can kind of see how that plays out in role play. Spoiler alert, it's not really like a favoritism thing ever, but
it's usually more
interesting
contentious.
To see.
So it goes.
Yeah, I will say that it was nice when I first started listening to have a range of characters. You know what I mean? And you guys have one of the strangest ragtag groups
Ain't
of
that
PCs
the truth, huh?
that it's like a really bizarre mix that fits really well for the tone of Carrying Crown in the show and everything you're doing. So you've been doing this for almost 2 years, right? Like quite a long time. What are some of your favorite experiences or moments in your time as podcasters? I mean, sure, you can talk about some of your favorite parts in the story, but you might want to leave that, spoilers or whatever. I'm more asking, like, because you're podcasting it, what that experience would have been some kind of touchstone moments for you.
I'd like to kick this off, Griff, if I can. I'm going to be very vague here to preserve people's privacy and everything. But very early on in our show, we received I think it was a handwritten letter. Maybe it was just an email from a person who was homebound and just was gushing about how much she appreciated what we were doing. And how it, lit up her life once a week. Right. And that right then, we'd only been doing this for maybe 2 or 3 months at the time. I can't quite remember, but that's when I knew the podcast was a success, because when I was going into this, I really thought that, even though I had heard the first couple episodes and I thought the audio quality, at least for the time, was very good. And we brought some very good characters to the table. Griff put in a lot of work for the backstory and everything. I wasn't sure about the longevity of the show. And I just thought to myself, if we can make one person happy, then we've achieved what we should have set out to do. We're not trying to get famous. We're not trying to make money. That was never, ever the intent of the podcast. And we're not famous and we don't have money. So I guess that's...
Well, if you're getting into it for that reason, you're going to be disappointed.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
it's a spoiler alert on that. There's no money at the end of that road,
but that was the thing, just very early on when I saw that even though we had never met this person and had little interaction with them, that we had such a substantial impact in their life that they would go out of their way and write a letter and talk about how, like, we kept their spirits up. You can't beat that. Like, what's more important than that? There's nothing.
Yeah, nothing. The connection you make with people as a podcaster is certainly incredible. Griffin, you got anything? Can you top that really wholesome, amazing answer?
I don't think I can top that with something more wholesome. But what I will say is that Steve and I had the opportunity last year to do kind of a tour of conventions and really spread the word about the show, get to meet some people that both listeners and non-listeners. And I think one of my favorite experiences out of that was our Gen Con meetup,
yes,
which, had kind of a revolving door of people. We were at the bar all evening until it closed. And, we had like 40 people show up to it, which boggled my mind then. And still would boggle my mind now if it hadn't actually happened. So I think that was just a hugely fun experience to be able to meet some of the people that listen and some of the people that are just interested in what we do. I think one of the other big moments for me wasn't really like a downloads number moment, but when we found out we had listeners in every state of the country, that was like just a big wow moment. Like it was like amazing, but also like I feel like that more than the download numbers is like oh god, some pit sweat going on, like stressful, like anxiety-inducing moment, because it's like, holy shit, like that's a thing. Now,
oh well,
like,
people are listening to us, like, oh my gosh, like
across the country, the whole
right,
country,
yeah.
Right, it's not just your parents crossing state lines.
Yeah, I mean, once you get that one person who has an internet connection in North Dakota, you've really, really made it.
This is I promise you guys, this is not a joke. For one day, we had 14 downloads in North Korea. This is not a joke. I was on Podbean and saw it and hovered over it, and it said North Korea 14, and then the next day, it was gone.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know how that happened.
What happened.
Kim Jong-un caught him, dude. They caught him slipping, man.
I don't know how he retroactively undownloaded the show. He sucked it out of Podbean.
Well, there's ways, I suppose.
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, really, the takeaway is that the main thing that you gain from creating a podcast versus just playing at a table is the community, right? You get to meet people and share common interests. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. It really makes it all worthwhile,
Yeah, I think if you're going into it with the intent of wanting to share collective storytelling with other people, then you're going to meet other people that are going to brighten your life. If you're going into it to be like, sure, make a good quality podcast. I'm not saying just wing it out there, but like if you're going into it for fame and fortune, you probably won't find that community, and it'll probably, you're missing a big aspect of what makes this so worthwhile to do. That's total agreement there.
Right, absolutely. So we wanted to have you guys on primarily because we like hanging out with you, but also because the Hideous Laughter Podcast is ostensibly a horror podcast, and you guys are horror buffs. And with STF heading into Signal of Screams AP, we kind of wanted to pick your brain about some spooky horror campaigns and stuff like that. So, what makes a good horror campaign? What elements do you guys think are essential, and what do you like most about the genre?
Oh boy.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Well, take your time, boys. We got all night.
Yeah, I'm going to start with what I think really adds to a horror campaign, makes a horror campaign horror themed instead of just a campaign with like undead in it or that kind of thing, which exists and I wouldn't call horror. And I think a lot of that has to do with the GM. So good luck, Adam, because and I know you already do a great job with this, but I think description is how you create the sense of horror. You need to be constantly describing the ambiance, describing what the players, all of the senses, you need to be bringing that in. When something visceral happens, it needs to be visceral in the description. You need to evoke that feeling of disgust when something disgusting is there. And to make stuff truly terrifying, that your descriptions are what's going to make people uneasy. And I think the core of a horror campaign is that you need to make characters that are powerful feel uneasy. And that's not something that's simple to do. Mm-hmm. As a metagamer, right? And everybody metagames from time to time. You know how a campaign works, and you probably know that your characters are not truly in that much danger all the time. They're powerful enough to overcome these situations. They have the tools. Unlike
you're meant to be an adventure path, right? You're meant to go through the whole thing,
and that's counter to the helplessness you're supposed to feel in a lot of horror scenarios. So, I mean, take any slasher flick, or that genre of horror is really hard to recreate in a TTRPG, especially in Pathfinder and Starfinder. There are TTRPGs that are geared completely towards horror. Stuff like Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green comes to mind.
Yeah, well, your characters aren't powerful
exactly
in those situations. Like, they can die with any dice roll. Then that's like built into the game, right?
And I think those are the games where it's really easy to evoke the horror concept because you have that built into the system. So my other advice for running horror, and I know you guys, having listened to our show, have seen it play out. You need to have some real lasting consequences. Some consequences that aren't going to be whipped away by a restoration spell or something like that. So in our game, we have corruptions, and they stick with the character. They're a horrible thing that becomes a part of that character's backstory and a part of the way they play, and they're mechanically not good. And something like that can evoke horror as well in a TTRPG, because it, without making the characters die, which isn't really that scary in a setting where characters die all the time, but without making them die, you make them feel the impact of something that either broke their mind or like completely messed with them, changed them, altered them in a way that they'll never play the same again.
I to piggyback off that, I think looking at everything you could possibly do, the scariest thing you can do to somebody, whether it's in a game or in real life, is take away their agency. So when you put a corruption on somebody, or a curse or something, that makes them act in a certain way, you're not taking away what they can do as a character, but you're limiting it or guiding it. And that to me is much scarier than any werewolf or vampire or what have you. The most terrifying thing to me is like, it would be the thought of, getting paralyzed in real life and just like being stuck. Like evoking that kind of fear in your players and pushing them outside of their comfort zones, I think is very important. And furthermore, Griff touched on that, so much is in the description from the GM to make good horror. I would pair up description with delivery, because there's a big difference between something like you open a door and there's a zombie in front of you. What do? And you creak open the door and it's just a little too loud and you're not sure what you see on the other side. There's a beam of light over a figure and something's just not quite right about them. Now, obviously, I'm adding a lot more description like Griff mentioned, but really slowing down the pacing of how you describe stuff lets that tension build. And you know what you should be doing behind that is being fucking relentless with your Sirenscape or whatever background track you have. Have something bassy, ominous, building up, a little bit of ringing, tinnitus. Heartbeats over and over.
Yeah.
I think that
something
that's your
persistent,
tension.
but like just below your subconscious. I'd like to follow that up with that. Like, that is great GM advice, and what you mentioned is with the player agency thing. So, as a player in a horror campaign, Steve, what is your advice to the players? Because you're asking then your players to be like, all right, you got to give up a little bit of this power fantasy to buy into the horror part of it. And I think that's a hard thing to do as a player. Yeah.
I mean, you truly have to be a phenomenal role player to handle a horror campaign. And I think I'm doing a bang up job at it. No. All kidding aside, what it comes down to is going into it with an open mind. That's the best thing you can do as a player. Do this, execute the same exercises that you would for any other campaign. So build a character that you care about, build a backstory that you care about, make sure it ties in well with the GM. But when things go a little bit sideways, think about how to yes and that scenario. Case in point, I came into our campaign with Inquisitor of Pharasma. Pharasma's a deity that exists in Starfinder, so your listening audience may be familiar. She is the goddess of life and death and absolutely has no tolerance for the undead. I thought it would be great for an undead-themed campaign, and I think so far it's done really well. However, there's a character on our show who is getting followed around by ghosts. Obviously, like, that could not possibly jive with my character concept. And my existence also couldn't really jive with hers, because I stand anathema to anything that she would want to do. So we have had to find like ways to coexist and make each other work and build each other up, as opposed to bringing down each other's character concepts. And I think it's come together really well. The development between my character and, okay, spoiler alert, it's Haley's character, has been very fun for me.
It always is, isn't it?
And early on in the show, that was a little troublesome for me. And I was like, man, how are we going to make this work? And we had a couple close calls where it was like, can both of us make it out of this tense situation alive?
Well, I think it adds some conflict to your story that is such juice for a GM to, like, pinpoint and then just extrapolate out, like, just put the spotlight on that tension, But again, to your point, you have to, I think, as a player, realize at the end of the day, you got to find a way to make it work, And so there has to be, you can explore that inner conflict, but there has to be some kind of understood acceptance that there'll be a compromise at the end of it, or else it's like, I just got to leave with my character, and that's that,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good advice in any campaign, though. You know what I mean? To, like, really buy in, to really say yes and, as it were, because, sure, I know I've run in situations where Adam has presented a scenario, maybe not in this campaign, but in other ones we've played, where I'm like, my character wouldn't do this. My character wouldn't do this. And I have to, like, just, like, swallow a little bit of my own self-characterization to make what works with the story work with my character. Because there's, it's not always going to be exactly the way that you want it to play out. And you got to be willing to be flexible in that. So I think that's fantastic advice.
Thank you. What it comes down to is you build a character with an alignment, a deity, whatever, and things seem very set in stone. But you're playing a role, and you're trying to embody an entire other person. And people, human beings, whatever race you are in Pathfinder, Starfinder world, they're complicated. So, you get into a situation that's a little morally ambiguous, you got to figure it out. So, that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. I think it's fantastic advice. So I was going to ask this question. I feel like you guys have kind of already touched on it, so we might just need to scratch it. But I was going to ask, being in an audio-only medium, how do you effectively translate those concepts of horror into the podcast? And I think that you guys have already really touched on it with, being descriptive and that kind of stuff like that. Is there any other element that you think you can, like, how to make this work in an audio medium?
I think Steve touched on it, but your music has to be very on point. If you're using music, if you're using sound effects and that kind of stuff, that adds to the ambiance. I mean, there's only so much description you can give for something. And at the end of the day, get really good at describing really horrible things. Because that's horror. That's horror in the audio medium. You might hear me on our show when I talk, and it's very deliberate and drawn out, and I do that 100% so that I can, like, put the stress on when I'm describing a scene and really make the players squirm. And I think that works really well.
Not delivering that one crucial piece of information that they need.
Just
until,
like holding it out just till the very end. And, I mean, and kind of milking each word of the description too, letting it roll off your mouth and stuff like that. And I mean, that's certainly one of the biggest things that I'm looking at as we go into this. I think one of the kind of fortunate, if not a little insidious, things that you have going for you when you're GMing a group of longtime friends is that how to push their buttons. You know what I mean? Like, and so, like, I think another thing I'm trying to be conscious of, kind of on the other side of the coin, is not overdoing it with that information. You know what I mean? And, like, I think that's a balance that you have to kind of keep to when you're doing a horror campaign is certainly you want to make it scary and certainly you want to make it uncomfortable, but you don't want to put anybody in a position of where I'm not like even enjoying this anymore. You know?
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
need the buy-in 100%, and that goes both ways. I mean, you as a GM have a responsibility to give the players that, hey, this is where this is going to go. Like, is everybody okay with that? Mm-hmm. If not, like, you can't take it there. And I think that's the social contract that you create as players. It's a lot easier when you're playing with your friends because you kind of know where that line is with them. But I totally agree with you. I mean, why do you think I've been throwing spiders in left and right? It's because Steve's arachnophobic.
Me too, Steve.
I know.
Me too, man. God, dude.
That's terrible.
Fucking hate it.
I hate him so much.
But it's little things like that you could do to make it that much worse.
That's much more
Personal
personalized.
touch.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So, despite being a horror campaign, the Hideous Laughter podcast, the other half of Hideous is laughter, and you guys are very, very funny. So, what are the biggest challenges in managing the horror tone while still keeping it fun and humorous? Like, is it just the alcohol or what?
I think I would say you always just got to pepper it in. I mean, it's something that our table has worked really hard in creating that balance, and the balance is know when to interject with a joke, know when something's got too heavy, but also know when I'm delivering something that's serious, my players know, okay, it's not joke time. Like, I'm not going to say shit, right? and so it's a tightrope, because we know it's heavy material. If we were doom and gloom and horror 100% of the time, nobody would listen to the show, because we're not an audio drama either, right?
Yeah.
And so we need that table banter. That's one of the things that is a cornerstone of our show, but it's always like, okay, this got a little heavy, somebody will pepper something in and make the whole table bust up, because you laugh even harder when you have all that nervous tension built up, and then somebody says something and you can let it all out.
I think it requires a lot of patience, right? Because as you're saying, sometimes, especially when you're delivering something serious and spooky, you're going to deliver a lot of text or a lot of dialogue in a slow manner, and the slower and creepier and more tense it gets, the greater the urge to break that tension, like with a cut in, you know what I mean? And like, it's got to take a tremendous amount of patience to just wait until the scene has delivered, and then you give it a second to hit, and then you kind of undercut it, right? It's
it takes a tremendous amount of patience just to listen to Brooks's jokes when he does cut in. So
Yeah. Yep.
Truly.
You have anything to add to that, Steve?
I just love, man, when he'll like try out material for the show beforehand. Like when we're mixing drinks downstairs before we start recording, he says a joke and it just fucking bombs. And then he repeats it on air.
Then he
I don't
goes,
know if he's
like,
doing
maybe
it-
this will be
man.
better when it's on air.
Man, we call him out on it too, but I love that kid to death. He's really special.
All right. Well, I mean, anybody who's not listening to HLP, pick it up. Obviously, right? Glowing endorsement from the STF
For sure.
crew.
And I mean, some excellent advice in the
Yes,
horror.
absolutely. I
Really-
have a lot to process on that, because I certainly have issues with relinquishing player agency.
I think you might have a little bit of a challenge, man. I'm sure this is going to come out. Well, yeah, it has to come out after. If you haven't listened to the first season of your guys' show, I don't know why you're listening now.
Right.
So there's some spoilers for that. But
stop and go listen to the main show and then come back into this.
You finish season 1 with Oren 1v1ing the boss of the campaign, and he walks out. I mean, the inspiration behind him's I can't remember his name.
Zolan.
Nate Fillion from Firefly. Like, your character is a registered badass, like Han Solo scoundrel. Like, to have that character in a horror setting, you're gonna have to push yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
well, and to go
I
like immediately from that, like I guess that's what you're saying, to like go from that.
He's got to be on the biggest ego trip.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough to feel small again.
You think I'll have some time to decompress?
Yeah. There's a little time gap between the two campaigns, so hopefully I'll find some humility in Orin in the meantime.
We believe in you.
Thanks. So moving on to another show, some of you may not know that we are also creating a joint project, the most ambitious crossover of all time, if you will. It's a joint actual play of the Attack of the Swarm AP with you guys. And so why not? Let's touch on that while we're here, right?
I would say the crossover is so ambitious, it makes Avengers Endgame look like a pile of steaming dog shit. We really put them in their place.
Yeah, I think you're 100% accurate with that. No embellishment at all on that statement. That's 100%
I would say it's so
fact.
ambitious, it crosses back over to unassuming.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. I like it. So I did not start out playing this campaign with you guys. I kind of joined it in media res, if you will. So can you guys touch on how this came together a little bit? Give kind of the behind-the-scenes rundown of the formation of the Hideous Tomfoolery project. I
mean, I could talk about it, but I think most of the credit is due to Adam.
This is true.
for putting it together.
Well, I just talked to you guys and said I wanted to play, and you guys were like, yeah, let's do it. And I think more so talk a little bit about our mode of release and kind of our intent behind putting this out and what we're doing with it.
Yeah, so we were on the fence initially when we started recording it about whether, we started recording it, but we kind of just recorded it because we all have the equipment to do so, and we could. And so we started playing, not necessarily with the intention to release it, but just that we had it recorded in case we wanted to, and we had it recorded so we all had the opportunity to listen back to it if we wanted to as well. But then when we played those first two sessions, we all kind of as a party really gelled, and it was one of those things where we were all chatting directly after we hit stop on the second episode, and it was kind of like, yeah, we definitely got to record all of these. Like, that was too much fun not to. And felt like the session went great and that kind of thing. And so us being, everyone on Hideous Tomfoolery, being podcasters that have been podcasting for a while, doing the actual play thing, we were just like, oh yeah, we'll record these. Adam offered to edit them, so it really became hey, let's just play as far into Attack of the Swarm as we want to.
Yeah.
And record them, and we can release them however we see fit. The way we decided to do that is actually really cool, and I don't think anyone's doing it. It's that we're recording the episodes in chunks, so parts of a book, and if you've ever looked at a Paizo adventure path, the individual books generally have several parts. So we're taking those parts, and usually it ends up being like 5 or 6 episodes, and releasing them as a whole chunk. But we're not releasing them on an RSS feed. You kind of have to have been listening to either of our shows to even know where to go to download the stuff, and you kind of have to be a part of one or both of our Discord communities to even find the links. But it's a kind of underground style that I'm really fond of, and I think has been really cool, because much like earlier yesterday, we released a huge chunk of Hideous Tomfoolery, and it's like, we didn't announce it beforehand. We didn't tell people, hey, be on the lookout for this in a week. we just dropped
just like,
it. We were like, hey, this is out now.
Yeah, Adam
Go
got
ahead.
done editing, and he was just like, "Hey, is everyone cool with me releasing it?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, fine. Go ahead."
Yeah, go for it. Man.
Drop the link.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, that's the thing is when it's done, and there's the next chapter, you know, and so it's like, it's a fun way to do it because you get to tell little individual stories. Like you get to really highlight the stories of each part because you know, the idea is that you binge 5 to 6 hours of this particular story, and then it's like, okay, cool, that was like this episode or this month's episode or whatever, and it gives us a chance in between parts to be like, okay, cool, now what, you know, what are we going to do, you know? And that's, I think, kind of how the flashbacks entered, because we weren't going to do flashbacks, but then Steve was like, I have one.
Wrote my longest flashback of all time and dropped it to you.
Yeah, I was like, well, this is pretty good. I don't see why we shouldn't do it, and so we did. I too enjoy the underground style of it. You know, it's kind of like,
one of my favorite things about it is when somebody new in one of our Discord channels that we have for Hideous Tomfoolery comes in there like, how do I listen to this? Like, what do I have to do to
Where do I
download it?
find this
I'm
again?
Googling, you know, and somebody in the community will point them in the right direction or whatever. It's really it takes me back to like old school, like sharing mixtapes or like concert footage type thing, you know,
bootlegs, man.
Yeah, it's
you know?
Bootlegs. It's a bootleg podcast. I love it.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Because like we don't have like any social media for it, nothing. Like it's
no, you just have to know about it. If you know, you know.
Right.
Well, and I just love the concept, like the fact that we could do the entirety of Attack of the Swarm, and then one day after we're done, be like, oh fuck, we'll give it an RSS feed now. Listen to the whole thing. Like that's also a
that would be
possibility.
wild.
It's like, oh, here's a podcast that's finished. Like it's
Just
done. Go ahead,
Just
listen.
Done.
Yeah.
Dude, there's some
it-
people in our respective Discords that would get that shit done in like 3 days.
Yeah, they would just crush it.
The people that join
I mean,
up, they're like,
but those people already have though. You
right. We need more of them.
They're
now.
already current.
Yeah, we're gonna need more of them.
So we're playing Attack of the Swarm, right? That's what we decided to play, Starfinder and Attack of the Swarm, which, I mean, the reason why is when I read that first book of the AP, it just seemed like such a fun, just like, you know, it's hard for sure, but like mostly it's Starship Troopers, you know, you just to get in there and just play, you know, and so it felt like it would be something that we could do, you know, we're all very busy and so I didn't want something that was, at first, you know, I didn't want something that was like too overly story driven, and the plan was just to play book 1, but obviously we've loved it enough so we're going to do this whole AP, and I read the other books and I was like, oh yeah, we have to do this whole AP.
Yeah.
It's awesome, like all the way through it. It's really cool. So that being said, what are some of the biggest surprises for you of book 1 of Attack of the Swarm?
Ooh, are we spoiling stuff?
Yeah, I would say that, again, spoiler warning, but if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to Hideous Tomfoolery, stop, go find the secret link, and come back. Because, I mean, this is coming out after the first book is released, so.
I mean, I was surprised and delighted by the early PvP.
Oh, that was rough, man.
That's less so about the story of Attack of the Swarm, but I think one of my favorite moments was the combat that we had on. It felt very Halo-esque, where we were on the back of like the Warthog, shooting like. Literally being attacked by a spaceship, which they always tell you is not something that's supposed to happen at Starfinder, but happens in this AP.
It just always happens.
And like, you know, you have the party, you know, meeting Zach's character literally an episode ago, getting into a car with him and having him become like the driver. You have a completely unprepared party, like Steve, your character, Natasi, is like in the driver's seat for a second and gets pushed aside. You have like the heavies in the back, just like, and we're shooting into the barrel of this enemy swarm ship, which is just not less a ship and more a giant organism, and we're like shooting into its orifices that shoot gunk at us and like trying to swerve.
It's so crazy. It's so like comic book and pulpy and cinematic. It's great. It's so much fun.
What about you, Steve? What were some early moments for you, or
early moments
favorites? Well, I mean, we've got 3 parts out now as of the time of this recording. So, any moment, not early. Just anything.
So from like a macro perspective, I know we touched heavily on where the project came from and how it developed and how we decided, hey, this might actually be something. I was very pleasantly surprised sitting down at a virtual table, because we are very far away in Columbus, Ohio from you guys. Just how well we jived in general. I mean, we got done with the first session, and then Zach, you on the third session. Full disclosure, I had never exchanged words with Heath or you before we played together. And effectively, it was like, maybe we were involved in some of the same conversations on one of our Discords, but we never talked, actually. We had Adam and Emily on a previous Sound of Truth, but never actually talked to you guys. And we were just RPing off each other right away. And it was a blast. That was
absolutely.
So that was a nice little surprise. Yeah, like we finished that that first episode, and I was like, shit, like Heath seems like somebody I went to like grade school with. Like we just vibed.
Yeah, it's very much a stepbrothers. Like, did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, Steve is definitely that kind of. I'm sorry, Heath. It's definitely that type of person that's just like immediately becomes your buddy. You know what I mean? I mean, he might be frustrating at times, but he's your buddy, like right off the bat. Because and y'all just connected.
Yeah.
That was a really nice thing, as you said, Steve. Just that immediate like gelling and kind of feeling comfortable around the table was something I assumed would happen, but it was really nice when it did.
Cause
you know what I mean?
You guys have done it with people before, and Griff and I have had this experience too, where you sit down and you play a game with someone, you're like, okay, that was fine. That's fine. But did it leave a lasting impression?
We probably wouldn't have released
not.
it.
Yeah.
That's how we felt.
Exactly. Like, or you sit down you go to a convention and you're at a table playing like Pathfinder Society or Starfinder Society or whatever, and there's some people there that are just driving for it, and sure, more power to them, but at the end of the day, like, am I gonna remember that dude? No way. But I remember you guys.
Oh, thanks. We remember you guys too. But in all seriousness, it really was. We could all tell immediately, that there was some kind of table chemistry, and that we all enjoyed or played in a similar way, had a similar approach to the way we come to the games, and I think that really helped the whole thing gel. And I think that in a lot of ways, you guys' really interesting character concepts brought a lot to this table. So talk to me a little bit about the inspirations for your characters. Steve, tell me, how did you come up with Natasi?
All right, so I play on this show an android medic archetyped mystic. That is her designation is Cora 6, but organics can call her Natasi. That's her name for organics. And frankly, I think I'm going to tell you guys the same thing or rather I'll go on air saying the same thing that I told you guys rather early in the show, was that I had signed up for this project. Griff mentioned to me that Adam wanted to put this super group together, and I was like, yeah, sure, fine. And I was having a lot of difficulty coming up with a character that I really cared about. I've got a lot more experience with Pathfinder. I could probably bang out a character right now on air, like a concept for Pathfinder. But Starfinder, I'm a little less familiar with, so it was a little bit more difficult for me to come up with something that I really cared about. And I went to the gym before work one morning and was walking back to my apartment, and it just clicked for me. So I am playing basically our party's literal heal bot, characterized as Daryl Hannah's character from Kill Bill with the missing eye patch and the doctor's uniform and everything.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Without diving into it mechanically, she is built to keep people alive. Like, I can't hit shit in combat. Most of my skills are trash, but nobody's dying with me on the field. I'm knocking on wood right now.
Except you, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, besides me. But I got really excited about the character concept. There were a couple things that I don't want to spoil here that I had to run by Adam to make sure they were okay, and they were. But I'm very excited to see where the character goes. I've got... Yes, he yes-anded me very well. I've got several things in my headcanon that I think would be very exciting to play out, and we'll see how it goes. It's fun playing a support role that at times seems at odds with some of the party. Just trying to...
Yeah. I mean,
or at least ideologically.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I've really been enjoying it.
Which, Natasha's a great character. I dug her immediately. And for what it's worth, everyone who is listening at home, Steve's token in Roll20 is literally Nurse Daryl Hannah. It's literally just the picture.
Yeah.
Yes, with her holding up the big syringe too.
Yeah.
It's the perfect pose.
I mean, it's like burned into my mind that's
no,
where
right.
Natasi
That's
looks
Natasi,
like.
right.
Yeah.
I was very clear with what I wanted the what I wanted the image of this character to be.
Well, you nailed it. You delivered. Griff, so man, as the forever GM of the Hideous Laughter Podcast, getting a chance to play a character, what inspired you to create your character, or where did you draw from? How did you land up on good old Sigurd?
I mean, Sig's concept came from reading about the planet Dagox 4, which the concept is it's an entire prison world. So the world is just a jail, and I had him
Sounds
come
terrible.
from that planet as a prison guard, enlisted into the military. But he's a vanguard, so where Steve's character is the heal bot, he is the tank. I really wanted to utilize the new shields that they brought into Starfinder because I was really excited for them. But a vanguard is a really interesting class because they play around with entropy, and Sigurd is a lawful neutral character that is playing with the force of chaos that is entropy, and it's where he draws all of his power from, and it's having an effect on him. And that's kind of where I'm taking his concept. I really wanted to play with like the dangers of playing with entropy, which I don't know if a lot of people think about when they make a Vanguard character, but it's something that to me is everything entropy stands for, is the destruction of the universe. That's entropy. Everything inevitably falls into chaos, and Sigurd's messing around with that force. And so I really wanted to play him up as a protector of the party that completely gets crushed when he feels like he hasn't done his job. He hasn't followed like protocol. When there's like infighting with the party, he takes it personally. He's that kind of character. And there's a lot of stuff in the backstory that I haven't revealed that is coming, because I wanted Sigurd to be a very slow burn character. I really appreciate everybody's flashbacks and stuff that you guys all like clearly put a ton of effort into, and they're all amazing. But Sigurd's concept for me feels like it just needs to play out. So that's what I've been trying to do, is give little flashes as to what's going on with him, or at least create the question of what's going on with him, because he's a complicated character, and he's I guess being a longtime horror GM, I like to put that into my characters without the mechanical, like, hey, you're corrupted. I like to just put that into my characters either way. And there's a little bit of that in Sigurd. Like, he's clearly, something's going on with him.
Dude, absolutely. For anybody who's finished part 3 of HTF now, I know I definitely was like, wait a second, there's something going on with Sig that we don't know about.
There's something like significant. He's going through something very significant against the backdrop of a swarm invasion. Like, you know what I mean? And it's intense. It's definitely there's a turning point for Sigurd in part 3 that's like, whoa, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Vanguard class concept a lot. I think it's just a really cool class. Like you said, having a Constitution-based class, and really good with shields, and also dealing with those forces of entropy, which is
I think you flavored the Vanguard in a really, really interesting way. You know, like I think as you said, you've captured the idea of a Vanguard a lot more than I think of what it might come across just on the surface. Like with the mechanics, you know, it's easy to get, I'm just shooting fireballs out of my hand. You know what I mean? There's lots going on there that I appreciate that you're highlighting, you know, of like what it actually means to have those abilities. I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, and we have a lot of interesting stuff coming up for Hideous Tomfoolery. If you think you've got it all figured out, I promise we have some surprises for you. So definitely, if you're not listening to Hideous Tomfoolery, get on the Discord and figure it out. Someone will tell you how to download it. You know what I mean?
There's a channel for it. We're not
going to tell you on air. You have to find out.
You have to find it.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. While STFU doesn't normally do a lot of listener questions, we have so much crossover in our listener bases that I thought it would be wrong if we deprived them of a couple of listener questions. So I've got a few for you guys.
Well, you can't. And you're not allowed to subject like the Paizo developers to.
You're right. Exactly. I can't put them. I can't.
We're more
have
polite
questions.
Than that, but you guys, no.
Yeah, but you guys can take the full brunt. You know what to expect. We're going to start with a few. If we have time, we'll get into a few more. But first of all, from our good friend Sir Newt, who is the most likely to ascend to lichdom?
Is that as a person?
Yeah, that's where we're starting with this one. That's it's setting the tone.
Yeah.
I echo Griff's. Is this a person, character, what?
You know, Sir Newt did not elaborate on the specifics.
I think person is what?
Let's say member of the Hideous Laughter Podcast.
Yes.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Emily on this one. I think
Emily.
The pursuit of knowledge.
She's studious enough to do it. That's for sure.
She's studious enough to do it.
I think Brooks is your
just
sleeper.
See what happens.
Brooks is a sleeper, but he'd have to have other people perform the ritual for him.
Well, Emily, you know,
Emily
would become a lich first, and then she would make him a lich, and there you go.
Brooks would just get suckered into it, you know. Like, okay, yeah.
I think Emily's the only one of us who could do it because she's a literal doctor, and none of us are smart besides her. I kid. But she's a literal doctor, so she could probably figure it out. But she also has a heart of gold, so I don't see that happening to her. But I could see Brooks getting fixated on it, and she would help him out. So I'm going to say Brooks.
I could see Emily as the... it was in one of the editions of D&D that had the I can't remember their name, but they're the good version of liches. They're still undead, but they're good aligned. Pathfinder and Starfinder kind of have the all undead or evil system in place, but D&D in one of their settings had good liches, so I could see that happening.
Well, Starfinder has the Eoxians. Yeah.
But they're considered a lawful evil society.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So Emily for lichdom then, or maybe Brooks, depending on the situation. So from Commodore, our good friend Commodore asks, what is your favorite mechanic in Starfinder coming from Pathfinder? And Bipolar Pop-Tart wanted to add, what's your least favorite? Let's start with you, Steve. Least and most favorite Starfinder mechanic.
Easy most favorite, the ability to attack twice at first level. Easy. You take a little bit of a penalty for it, but I think that is a phenomenal add to the system. Least favorite's a lot more difficult. I would say, as being the habitual either player of Pathfinder or player of Starfinder, it feels like I'm shooting myself in the foot a little bit. But I think it might be worthwhile re-looking at how to kill players. Because there's massive damage rules and you run out of resolve points, but after level 1 or maybe, including some very high level stuff, it seems like that middle ground is very difficult to kill a player, which a lot of times makes or can take a lot of tension out of encounters. It's kind of like going back to a series and watching like a prequel. Well, the lead character is going to survive because he shows up in the original movie, right?
Right.
It's not quite that bad, but a lot of times if I've got full resolve and I go down, it's like, okay, well, there's nothing to worry about.
The resolve is an awesome system, but it fails at that point because, you got your stamina to burn through. You burn through that and you're like, okay, shit, I'm in my HP. And that goes to 0. And that's when you should start to really get scared. But what you're really staring down the barrel at is 4 or 5 rounds of just spending a resolve, yes. Okay, you stable, you get up, you're going to get knocked down again, and that's not a lot of fun. And what I think that would be cooler is if there was a lot more cool uses for those resolve points. So you were more motivated to use them, thus having less to rely on in those situations,
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Adam. I think that's a good suggestion.
100%. I mean, that's the way my character in Hideous Tomfoolery is built. It is a resolve-based class where I'm pumping heals using that resolve channel. Well, what does that do for me when I've been healing the rest of the party and only have 1 resolve left, and then some enemy focuses on me? Then I'm in serious trouble. So I 100% agree. Make more classes a little bit more resolve dependent or something. I don't know.
Yeah, your front line fighters need to have a reason to use them, because most of the classes that use resolve in a really oh, I'm going to use them. It's your envoys and it's your mystics, especially with the way you're building with the archetype, is they're not really being focused on unless, as a GM, you're kind of meta and you're like, oh, I need to take out the medic. So, you know what I mean? Because they're the easiest target, and some enemies would know that, but, a lot wouldn't.
Well,
of course.
To your point, I still don't have a resolve spender. At level 7, my main character, Orin, does not have a resolve spender of any kind.
I think all spellcasting classes need a mechanic that is resolve for a spell slot. I think that's so
Witch Warpers should use resolve for their infinite worlds instead of spell slots. Witch Warpers should use resolve.
I'm trying to think of SIG. It's I have so many other options of gaining entropy points. I can move twice, I can get hit, I can get crit, any of these things he's actively doing, attempting to get hit, walking through AOs and stuff. And that makes my only resolve spending mechanic, which is to get entropy points, kind of a moot point.
Yeah. Interesting question, Commodore. I think we'll probably be talking about that a lot more on the Discords too. I'm curious to dig into that subject a little bit more.
So we got another one from Sir Newt here, and he asked, how do you feel that tabletop games have influenced how you view yourself as a person?
Sir Newt.
That's a heavy one from Sir Newt. Let's start with you, Griff. What do you think?
I think tabletop games have definitely made me a more eloquent person than I ever was before.
Interesting.
The way I viewed myself before was not as, and I'll equate this to work. Since we've started doing this, I've gotten many compliments at work for being able to run a meeting, for being able to present an idea concisely and well, that I think is a direct result of me GMing constantly, and that I probably didn't have coming right out of college. So for me, TTRPGs have just kind of made me a better communicator, and I think that's a huge skill that gets built with this hobby, a way to express yourself a little bit easier because it's necessary in a role-playing game.
Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic answer. Steve, what do you think, man? How's it changed you playing tabletop?
Besides the fact that it just, I think, made me a better role player on any other game I play, it's helped build my confidence a lot. I have struggled with that my entire life. But, you know, I was at a conference for work a year ago or so now, and I was asked to guest on this video and talk about a subject that I was very knowledgeable of that was eventually going to be used by folks, I can't even think of the name for those, people that try and get stuff done on Capitol Hill.
Legislators?
Like a lobbyist to present ideas to senators and stuff. So that video was going places, and I was super nervous to say a couple words on a topic that I was very knowledgeable on. But then I thought to myself, we record a show that I put out every week, and that I've seen the download numbers. We've talked earlier about where those downloads come from. People all over are listening. I can do this. And also, on top of that, you know, having the confidence to be vulnerable, I think, has helped me a lot. I've admitted more stuff on air to the world than I have to a lot of my close friends. And I think just after a while you get to the point where, hey, I don't need to be tough. I don't need to be cool. People who have been responding to our show have been appreciative of who I am as a person. So I might as well just talk about my flaws. I've got problems.
May as well lean into me.
Right. You know what? I'm not perfect. And I finally, after however many years, have gotten comfortable with just owning those. And it's helped.
I think it really lets you test drive a lot of aspects of yourself at the table.
Yes.
A lot of aspects that may not be comfortable aspects for you to talk about. You can kind of explore in the characters you make. Steve, I know you draw direct parallels with Saw, the character you made, to yourself in a lot of ways. I mean, you cast him as you.
It's very true. Yes.
And with that, it allows you to explore some stuff that you wouldn't explore in a lot of social situations outside of the table. And it's nice that, especially playing with a group of friends like all of us do, it's nice to be able to be in a spot that is kind of a safe space and a safe sounding board for that kind of things, whether you're role playing it out as a character or you're me or Adam with our multiple personalities coming in as NPCs, but you can still inject a little bit of you into each character you bring to the table, and that makes it a super valuable hobby.
Yeah, I've seen, I don't know, a tweet or something where it was you don't need therapy, just get a group of friends and start playing D&D, and we'll just work all that shit out at the table.
100%.
I mean,
yeah.
It's
I think it's legitimate advice. Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're interacting with those feelings in, I think, a healthy way. Once you realize that you're expressing them, it kind of sneaks up on you, and you're like, "Oh shit, that was me right there. That wasn't just a character." You know what I mean? And we put a lot of effort into our characters and try to make them something other than just, "Hey, I'm playing Zach the fighter" or whatever. Oh,
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting your point now. I'm just getting worked up.
No, you're the guest, Steve. Please interject.
Yeah, you're the one who gets to interrupt. Please.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, well, okay, well, I've been playing TTRPGs with my friends for the last 5 or so years, and 70% of my characters have been female. Like, I'm not as masculine or like weird about that as I thought. It's just it's
right.
like I've learned a lot about myself.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, playing a gender swapped character. I played a female, actually Pharasman champion in our 2E game.
Hey.
And and not in any small part because of your love of Pharasma, right? So like, it's definitely an inspiration for that. And yeah, it's fun to explore that side of yourself, or to embody a character that is different from you in a lot of ways. It's interesting, and I think a lot of people who haven't tried, whether you're male playing a female character or female playing a male character, it's certainly an interesting exercise, if nothing else. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I got to be really sassy, and I enjoy that. So, Steve, I've been told I need to ask you about your Legos, man. While I've got you here, I've been told. So tell me, what do I need to know about your Legos? I'm missing something, I guess.
So this is me being vulnerable right now. So I like drinking, and
really, no way.
Occasionally,
dude.
That'll get me very hungover. And I've discovered in my adult life that there's nothing more therapeutic for me when I'm hungover than just sitting down, putting on a podcast, turning my brain off, and building a Lego set. It works wonders for me.
Man, that's actually great.
It kills a little bit of time. It relaxes me. It distracts me from the fact that my entire body feels like it wants to fall apart. So a not insubstantial part of my single apartment is filled with Legos. Namely, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, so I build a lot of Star Wars Lego sets. I have virtually every set that they've released in the last since.
Do you have the big Death Star like they broke in the Spider-Man movie?
I don't, and I want it really bad, but it's really hard to justify that purchase price. I think the biggest set I have, I just put together. It is the 20-year celebration of Lego Star Wars. It's the Tantive 4. It's something like 2,000 pieces, and it was a lot of fun to build. I don't know where I'm going to put it. It's too big.
Oh yeah.
But I'll figure it out, man.
You need a whole display case for it, just right in the middle of the room.
He's already filled like 3.
Yeah.
He's got just
it's
suck it
not
up and put it in the
insubstantial.
bedroom.
I have
Well, there you go.
far too many Star Wars Lego sets in the bedroom.
Well,
I mean,
look,
is there
there's
too
a
many-
good Patreon tier for you. Fun Steve's Lego Habit.
There you go.
I'm fine with that.
The Death Star
All right,
tier.
so I got a wacky one from you. This comes from our good friend Overplus with Gaming on the Rocks, and he asks if you were taking part in a Harry Potter themed pub crawl, which house would you support? That's a wild one, Overplus, but I'll pose it. You asked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Gryffindor. That's what people called me in high school.
I mean, you
Like,
have
it's
to, right? You have to.
It's just kind of there. The connection is too easy to draw.
Yeah. It's all in the name.
Yeah, and I've never done any sort of like Pottermore house sorting or anything. But I'm gonna go Slytherin for the Snake Girls.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The
I
gentleman's
expect
choice.
no less. See, I
Figured
should have known, man.
Yeah.
I should have known.
What are you guys picking?
Zach's Ravenclaw for
I'm
sure.
a classic Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
That's
I can't
my
ever
house.
decide if I'm Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff. I want to say Ravenclaw, but
You feel a little Hufflepuff.
But like I think that I'm too much of a smartass to be a Hufflepuff.
I mean,
You
after
know
this
what I mean?
quarantine, we're all a little Hufflepuff, all right?
Absolutely. So, I have one more listener question for you guys. Again, this one's from Overplus, and Griffin, I think this is for you, and this is kind of a deep cut. This is a little insider joke here. If Brock was in Starfinder, what race would he be, and what are some inspirational words he would live by?
Oh, dude. That is a deep cut. That's about the deepest cut you could get. That's if you were around.
It's really deep. If you weren't here.
That's that spicy question right there, dude.
3 to 4 in the morning of the STF Live season 1 finale show.
Consider it in tribute to Hideous Tomfoolery as a whole. I mean, this is bootleg shit, man. You got to be on it to know it. That's all I'm saying. You got to be on it to know it.
Oh man, I think Brock would be an intellectual otterfolk. I don't remember their actual name, but he lets the hate roll off him, much like otterfolk with their water impervious fur, and I think they get cold resistance too, which is right up Brock's alley. What would he live by? Oh boy. I think he would take the upcoming AP to heart. I think he would say fly free or die.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Nailed it.
Quote Brock.
Yeah. On that note, guys, do you want to plug the show again real quick before we head out? You give out your deets so they can know where to find you if they don't already.
I guess we could flash those deets.
Yeah, man. Do it.
We got a little deets.
Yeah, so just look up the Hideous Laughter Podcast. We're on all podcasting apps. Anything you use to listen, we're there. We're at Laughter Hideous on Twitter. We're at Hideous Laughter Pod on Instagram, as well as Twitch is twitch.tv/Hideous Laughter Pod. You can also check us out on Reddit. One of our good buddies, Lord Deathquake, set up a subreddit for us some time ago, and so that is the coveted R Hideous Laughter. So we snuck in under the radar and got that.
Nice.
Beyond that, I mean, we're all over our own Discord as well as your Discord, and you need to join one of those. Preferably
you need to listen
both.
to Hideous Laughter Podcast if you're not already. Is what you need to do. Like, for real. Like, there, you know, this. I think this gets said every time we get together, but the mutual friendship and respect between these two pods goes deep, and it's because the shows are. I mean, their show is on it. So get you some of that HLP.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we can shout you guys out and promote you enough. We love you guys. I know our community loves you guys because they're your community as well. And so, there's a lot of love there in this. It's a fantastic marriage of community, if you will. And guys, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate having you.
Thank you guys for having
talking
us.
to you.
Are we already done, man? That flew by. I had a lot of fun chatting with you folks. Thank you.
Yeah, it goes quick.
Yeah,
it goes quick.
Absolutely.
And it goes even quicker when we're just bullshitting after recording an episode of HTF or something, And
Yeah, like the next thing you know, you've been there another hour. Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're going to hear another one of Emily's stories that just floors me. Everybody
Steve,
here knows
man,
what I'm talking about.
Yep.
You're not you think you know a person, you know what I mean?
You think you
Apparently not.
You think you've hit the last crazy story, and you never have.
It keeps coming.
There's always another box to unpack.
So amazing. You guys, do you want to join us in a group round of our farewell since we got you here for this?
How does that work?
You know what we're getting at. I'll just count it off. You know what I'm saying? Let's do 3, 2, 1, and we'll get everybody on it. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. 3, 2, 1.
We'll see ya.